Okay. So we are recording. So let's start off with wins. Who's got some wins from last week?
I have a win for this week. This is JC.
Okay. JC, Gail, please always announce yourself so we know who we're talking to.
I'm closing my cookie deal tomorrow.
You're closing your cookie deal tomorrow. Sweet.
Cookies to win the bid.
Yep.
We're going to close them tomorrow. And I did meet the sellers on a final walkthrough inspection last week, and they thanked me for my cookies. So that was kind of nice.
Right. See if you can find out from the title company where they moved to. And so add them to your SOI. It's hard to adopt sellers. But anyway, first of all, great job. But sellers, it's hard to add sellers to adopt a past client. Where, when you're the listing agent, someone buys your listing, then you should go visit them and bring them cookies, right?
Right.
And start talking to them and add, because you already know their name and address, right? So you already know their name and address. So if you can just collect some contact information, if you paid for a home warranty, get the warranty information from the title company. Just, even if it's, the seller paid for it, but the buyer picked it, just figure out who their warranty company was, figure out all the contact information, show up at their house. Hey, here's the, or what's your number? I'll text you the warranty information so you can just keep it there, that kind of stuff. So you can, but the point is you want to adopt past clients. So.
Right.
But anyway, great job on that one. And then anybody else have any wins? Robin, you always have wins. Come on, give us something. You got to throw me a bone, Robin.
Gosh, I don't know. I have a good friend that's listing, so we went in and kind of staged her house using what she had. And she sent me a note just saying it looked great. It was awesome because I know she has a friend who's trying to get to move too. So obviously, you just want to win with every client you have,
right?
So that you get referrals. Actually, I did have kind of a fun win. This is kind of crazy. So my husband and I went to go see an estate lawyer to kind of get our will and just all that kind of stuff done because we're not very wrapped up.
Right.
And one of my clients works at his firm, which I didn't realize. And I guess
when
you go through lawyers, they all send a note saying, hey, these people are coming in because they need to make sure there's not a conflict of interest within the firm.
Right.
And so when I literally showed up at the conference table, the guy's like, wow, like you come so recommended. And I'm going to him, by the way. I'm paying him, right?
Right.
Anyway, so we had this really great conversation. And then afterwards, we chatted for another 10 minutes in the lobby. And he's like, do you do work up in Davis County? Because we're going to get you some business. I mean, it was the craziest meeting. It was awesome.
Right.
So,
right.
Anyway.
That's an awesome win. And all that is just from having just going the extra mile. I mean, it's kind of like, it's like, people will talk about you. How many people on this call, if another agent asked you, what do how's your broker? Do you like your broker? What's a good broker, right? I mean, you guys would have good things to say about me. Why? It's because I care so much about you that I just go the extra mile. I just do it. And that's it. That's how you get referrals. Like you said, you just want to do a great job on every client. Yeah, you want to do a great job on every client because that's how you get referrals, period.
Yeah.
And then, and so anyway, so great job on that. That's awesome. Anybody else have any wins?
I got a win from this last week. This is Charles.
Yeah, please always identify yourself, guys.
No problem. So I was we went to a church function that we weren't sure we were going to go to, and it got introduced to a client that I picked up, signed, and we're making offers already. I had barely known this person, not even a week, and already having signed a buyer client and going out and getting houses. So.
Sweet. Wearing your name tag to church. You go, man. No kidding.
Didn't even do that. I just introduced myself for the first time then. When they asked what
hi, my name's Charles. My name's Charles. I'm your favorite realtor.
Exactly.
Well, that's awesome. I love hearing these wins, you know. So what would you say is anybody, well, and that's a great story too. I love it, love it, love it. And it's always just, you know, no matter where you are networking, you know, and I've always struggled with networking at church, you know, it's like networking at church, I always think of the passage where Jesus is in the temple of the Gentiles and throwing over the tables because they were in there. The money changers were ripping people off, you know. So I kind of always feel that way.
I was doing the same thing. I was like, you know, I don't really advertise or broadcast about church or
Right.
any of this stuff. And it was funny because I was sitting next to the guy and talking to somebody else and was like, yeah, I don't, you know, people do this and I'm here for other reasons, not for that.
Yeah, right.
And looks to the guy next to me and says, aren't you looking for a house? You need to talk to this guy.
Right. Well, somebody else introduces and then the gloves are off.
Yeah, no, at that point I was like, yeah, here, let's talk, and reached out and talked to me this week after they got finished pre-approval and ready to go. We showed them 6 houses and wrote offers on one that ended up multiple offers. We didn't want to compete that much for it, so
got it.
moved on. But they're signed clients now, so we're working together.
Oh, yeah.
And get another one.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Anybody? How about anybody else? Anybody else got any good wins?
This is Amy.
Hi, Amy.
The buyer seller I picked up on Monday last week. They're under contract as of last night.
Sweet. Where'd you pick them up at?
Son got that was SOI.
SOI. Imagine that.
Yep. And my son pulled the trigger, and he's under contract for his home.
So that's 3 transactions pending?
Yeah, I have 3 transactions pending.
That's huge. God, I love it. You know, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad you waited for last because that was the best one, right? Well, or should I say, now that I said that, nobody else will go, right? Nobody else is going to go now.
Come on now.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. So yeah, that's gosh, I just love hearing all those successes. I really do, and I hope it inspires the other people. Here's the thing: the markets are slowing down a little bit, right? Obviously, Charles found himself in a multiple offer situation, but if you're still in the certain price points, you're going to have multiple offers. Period. Right? So, but what was I going to say? But the market, I mean, properties are on the market longer. They just are. You know, the entry level price range is always going to fly. However, you start getting up a little upper, you know, into the second tier of pricing, and that could be anywhere from $300 to $350, just depending on the side of town you're on, and things like that. You know, the general market. You know, whether you're in Holiday or out in Tooele, right? So. But so because things are, homes are staying on the market a little longer, as the spring season comes, sellers are still going to be ambitious and they're going to overprice. So what's going to happen is you're going to see a little slowdown in, not so much, they say volume is going to be down some, and I'm not 100% convinced of that, but I don't think it's going to be down a lot. Prices are still slated to increase, anywhere from 4 to 7%, depending on where you're at. They're saying Ogden, like 10%. So prices are still going to increase, but what you're going to see is a little slowdown. They're not going to fly off the shelves like they would. The spring buying season they may, but the point is you're going to see a lot of inexperienced, inactive agents are not going to do as well. In other words, you've got to be nose to the grindstone. And then people, as people see houses sales start to slow down a little bit, they're not going to list with, the person that cuts their hair, because it's going to start requiring skills. If you need to sell your house, you want to hire a full-time professional real estate, full-time real estate professional. So just make sure you're always letting people know, yeah, I'm a full-time real estate professional. Kind of work that into your dialogue. Because, like I said, as the market slows a little bit, it turns into what I call a skill-based market. Both markets are skill-based. The skill in an extreme seller's market is getting your buyers under contract. That's the skill there. The skill when the market shifts some, now we're not going to be in a buyer's market by any stretch. A buyer's market is, a seller's market is 5 months inventory and less, 6 months is neutral. A seller's market, a buyer's market is more than 6 months so of inventory. So we don't have that. We're not going to be in a buyer's market, but it's going to feel weird to some people because it's shifted. And so it's still going to be a seller's market, but you're going to have to be priced right. And so you're going to need your skills, and you're going to need your systems, right, to get price adjustments. That's going to be the key, and to survive in the new, in a new marketplace, right? It's going to be that's what'll take place, right? It's going to be. So anyway, it's just going to be skills marketing, and all it is simple systems. We have the systems in place. I could teach you. I could show you. You set up template emails. You just you send out information to the sellers on a weekly basis. Because as properties start to sit on the market for 30 days, sellers are start to freaking out. But if you're calling them every week and sending them an email every week, and set that up at the listing presentation, right? So hey, look, when I'm going to communicate with you. I'm going to send you an email every week, plus I'm going to call you every week and let you know what's going on. So, and then in your email, you just set it up to where here's how many showings you had, and then there's statistics. You can look them up in the MLS. You send them some stats, and then you send them, and then any feedback. You get any feedback, you send them feedback from the showings. So chase the feedback down from these agents that are showing. Right, and then if you want to use karma to get feedback, don't wait for agents to call you for feedback. Call them and give them your feedback. And that way, just put the karma out there, right? You give feedback without people asking, and then it'll be easier. You'll just find it'll be easier for you to get feedback. That's just the way karma works, right? So anyway, but the feedback's important. So people want to know, and you don't want feedback from the buyer. I don't care what the buyer thinks. I want to know what the agent thinks. The agents that are looking at houses every day and showing homes, but they were running around with the buyer. They would, because the buyer might not like it because of a color scheme or something like that, something emotional. Where we want to see the agent's opinion. There was 3 other houses that priced better than yours. So that's good information to take back to your seller. Which also, you should also be running hot sheets when listings don't sell quite as fast. Make sure you run hot sheets for the comparable sales around the neighborhood, right? So set up a search parameter for your clients. So wherever they are, I call the box. So you could do like a 10-block radius. So if they're on 15th East, you go 5th East to 25th East. Things like that, and then just have a 10-block radius, and then set up a hot sheet, but no status, just a box, just a geographic box, right? And then what happens is, and then every time something changes, you have that information, so you can monitor what's going on. Because you could list a property and not realize that 3 new houses came on the market, because in the spring busy season, houses fly on the market. 3 houses came on the market that are priced better than you. You need to know that right away so you can start talking to your seller. And you always got to remind your seller, we don't have any control over the competition. The market or the competition. We only control price, condition, and exposure. So it's important to get those hot sheets, get in the habit of setting those up so that way you can communicate. Then you can also let your seller know what went under contract too. Properties at this price went under contract. And then these are the ones that are closing. So that way, because if you're going to be taking listings, because if it's overpriced, it's going to take you maybe 3 weeks to 4 weeks to get a price adjustment. And then when you got a price adjustment, it might take another 10 days to get it sold. So you're talking 4.5, 5.5 weeks. So that's a lot. You can't just like throw it out there and then, it's not like when you throw it out there and 4 days you have offers. No. You're going to be talking to sellers every week. You're going to be sending them an email every week. That's how you get price adjustment. because it's not going to sell until the price is adjusted, period. But always double check your listings to make sure that there's something not mismatched, Like I remember years ago, I picked up an expired listing. It wasn't selling. And the reason it didn't sell, the agent lived in Sandy, an old-timer, because they used to call the Sugar House area up there, that area, that was always called Northeast. Well, this agent listed it in the MLS as the quadrant is Northeast. Well, it was never going to show up because it was in the Southeast quadrant. It's the Northeast part of the county, but it's the Southeast quadrant of the address system. So it expired. I picked it up. I was like, all I did was change the quadrant, just the price $5,000 or whatever, and it sold like right away. So make sure you're double checking your listings to make sure that they're going to show up in the proper search. Just make sure, and the best way to do that is make sure you fill in everything, right? Don't leave blanks undone. Fill in what direction the house faces. Fill it all in. Things like that. If you can get the footage from the county records, sometimes show you the footage of frontage and that kind of stuff. But just fill in as much as you can. The more information you put in the database, the more chances you have of showing up in searches. It's that simple. Because you never know what people search. I learned that from Google Analytics. You'd be amazed at what people search. And it's not always what you think. So anyway, thoughts, questions on that? What about struggles? Anybody? What are people struggling with? Hello? Anybody there? Just doing a roll call. So anybody there?
I'm here.
All right, I just want to make sure I was still connected. I'm so silent. Yeah, if I hear one, then I know I'm connected on it because I'm on my phone. I'm not on my computer. So anyway, anybody have any struggles for the week or any input they would like to add to what I just, that 20-minute paragraph I just read or sounded off?
I'd just tell you that the market is going to be more, just advising people the right way to go. And,
right.
While prices are going to go up and even interest rates are going to go up, it's just a matter of doing it. And I love checking boxes and making sure that as much information as possible is provided so that it does show up on those searches. Because many times I've been like, I want to know this about this house, but they didn't, it's agents that don't check the box and you just don't know.
Right.
So.
Right. It's like, look up the information, just find it, that's what we do that's our job. If you're going to make, anywhere from, $8,000 to $25,000, even at $8,000, 25 is obviously a real large amount of money, but eight's large too, Because remember, if you're making 8%, $8,000, let's say you got a 6% listing. So sometimes we only think in terms of 3%. But remember, the seller's paying 6%. So if a seller's got a $300,000 house, $350,000 house, they're paying $20,000. They deserve every box check that's applicable.
Right.
That's
period.
Something that when I'm talking to people, I talk about a lot because I can't believe how many times I look at listings. Like, for example, there's a listing down the street from my house. I pass it daily. And I had a client who kind of has some special needs. He wants to work a business out of his home, and he needs kind of warehouse space. So I happen to know that this particular property has a huge outbuilding in the back. Like, it's significant. And I went to the listing to look it up, and it wasn't even on there.
Right.
That person happened to be a friend of mine, so I called her and I said, listen, you need to call your agent and make sure this is listed in your listing. It's pretty important. But I just think to myself, what a miss. Like, an outbuilding is a huge selling feature for people, and I just happen to know it. Like, otherwise I wouldn't have ever found it, right? And so then I called the client that I was looking for, and I said, hey, take a look at this property. It has a building. I said, it's not listed on the listing, but it's there. And he's like, how did you know that? And I'm like, well, I happen to know the house. But, I talk about that with people, whether
Right.
it's buyers or sellers, and I kind of say, it's really important to make sure every detail about your house is in a list so you don't miss any. And, you can talk to people about that and, make them confident in you that you're not going to miss that because
Right.
you've noticed it and you know how important it is.
Right. When someone asks me, that's awesome. So, it is. It's just about knowing the inventory, right? That's why it's important to kind of work a niche, you know what I mean, rather than the globe, ideal Utah, But, when you get specialized, then people beat a path to your door. So I'll give you the line to use. When someone says, well, how did you know that? And you said you know the house, which is a correct answer. And what I think is a more correct answer is you say to them, and this goes along with everything you just said, Robin. It's my business to know this stuff.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a great response.
Yeah.
Hey, Robin, what price point
you said. What's that?
I
was wondering what price point that's at.
What price was that house?
Which is, that's a $46,000 commission for those people selling that home.
Right.
Myself,
Right.
Are you kidding me? Somebody can make $20,000 selling your home, and you can't bother to take an extra 15 minutes when you're putting together the listing. Now, granted, I happen to know it was a discount lister, and then that's why we tell people you don't do discount listers because you definitely get a discounted service, and it's not giving you a service.
Right. No. So one of the things I'd like to share with you too, Renee, and Robin, you said the word discount. Discount used to mean less, right? But discount, when you have, when you buy like on Amazon, right, you're basically buying the same thing for less money. So discount is no longer a bad thing or no longer a less thing. It's no longer a lower quality thing. So in real estate, when they hear discount, broker, right, they think of the same service for less money because that's what people have been trained now to think of as discounts with the Costco's, the Sam's Clubs, right? Because Costco's gas is $1.85 or $1.89, something like that. It's a discounted price, but it's the same gas as everybody else. So the word discount is no longer the same connotation. So when you talk about what we perceive as discount brokers, start using the phrase limited service brokers.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's call a spade, right? So, because discount's not bad. In other words, discount just simply means I'm getting the same thing for less money. That's what a discount means. And so we're not going to agree with the consumer that they're a discount broker. We need to educate the consumer that they're limited service brokers. And so that a full service broker can net you more money. Yes, sir.
This is Jesse. I just wanted to interrupt. Where I've found some success is for the old generation. I call them computer brokers, and they hate that. So,
right.
If you want to communicate everything but via email and cell phone and text, it just flusters them when they talk about it. So that's what I've been referring to.
Right.
I like limited service as well.
Well, it's more accurate in my opinion. Because it is limited service for, 0.5% or whatever, $500 throwing the MLS. You're not going to get representation. You're not going to get quality representation. You're not going to get a negotiator. If somebody can't negotiate more than $500 for their own value, they're not going to. Those are. I love sicking Robin on those. Robin loves going after homie listings. She goes in there and beats the crap out of the seller and gets the buyer everything they want.
I love homie listings.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
I think it would be helpful if we had a little more discussion. Maybe Robin could even help with input on that. I don't know if anybody's driven north. Last weekend, I came home from Santa Quinn, and every other billboard on the left side was a homie billboard.
That's
crazy.
Eventually, they're going to run out of other people's money. So
good, not soon enough.
Right. But the thing is, as the market starts to slow down, they're going to be terrible.
Great.
Because They're not going in there. As the market starts to shift, the number one skill of a listing agent, right, is beating the seller up on the price. That's your number one skill. You got to negotiate. So it almost seems counterintuitive that you have to negotiate against your seller to lower the price when your job is to get them the most amount of money. Right? That just seems counterintuitive. But the reality is it's not going to sell until the price is correct. So your number one job is to get the correct price, and that takes negotiation skills in a shifted market. So if you have strong negotiation skills and strong leadership skills, that makes you a strong listing agent, because you have to lead them through the process. You have to lead them to the right price. You got to negotiate them.
Right.
So negotiation skills are very, very important for a listing agent. And then you got to negotiate for the seller when the offers come in. So anyway,
I just
A lot of
times.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Back to the market. I have new buyers. We were out first time this week looking at houses. And of course, everything was multiple offer situation, and my clients were a little hesitant and said, "Let's just try it." And it was the cover letter. It was the cover letter that made the difference. It was about a family going into a family home, and that's who they wanted to have purchase this home. And there was no question. They accepted our offer.
Right. Yeah, back when I would work with investors, and investors, they didn't want to go in and look at the house, if they're buying it to scrape it. I'm like, look, this is a little old lady owns this house. If you don't go in there and look like you're going to move in there with your family, you're not getting a deal.
Right. 100% true.
You tell this little old lady you're going to buy her house and scrape it, she's not going to sell it to you.
So on negotiation, one thing that I do that I think is kind of a little bit of an aha for people is when, somebody tells me another agent can list it at 5%, right? So talking about like 1%, let's just, for easy math, we'll just call it $1 million home, right? So that's a difference of $10,000, right?
Right.
And so I sit down and I do the math with people and I say, okay, I don't discount because I'm not a discount agent. And I start, but what I do is I take that same 1% and I actually spend it on your listing, whether it's your staging or direct, advertising. I said, I take that same money and I spend it so that we go under contract in the first couple of weeks, right? And then I just do the math. I said, if I can get you under contract at the same or higher, I go, somebody else is a discount broker that's not, giving you all the services. Well, when you have to take a price cut at that price point, like you're not taking a $5,000 price cut. It's a $30,000 or $40,000 price cut on $1 million property. And so you just kind of walk through the math and you're like, the math doesn't make sense. And we know it doesn't, but they need to kind of know, okay, it really doesn't make sense. Like in the scope of things, you don't save.
Right. No, you don't. No, you don't save anything. And that's, but you have to be willing to sit down and show them that. And number two, you've got to be willing to do what you said. In other words, you can't just like, what do you call it? Say you're going to do stuff and not do it,
100%.
So Robin does spend money. She spends, she'll stage the money. She'll stage a home for a couple $1,000 cash out of pocket. But if it's a $30,000 commission, it's like, well, duh.
Well, and it's a twofer, right? Like I'm always looking for arbitrage in life. Like if I can see arbitrage, I go after it. And to me, doing that kind of service is arbitrage, right? Because it's giving something that nobody else will do. So not only do I get that house sold, well, they're going to refer me every day of the week because I've done something no one else will do. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's arbitrage,
they become raving fans.
Exactly. I mean, not just like, I had a good agent. Like, dude, you've got to use this. It's that. It's like what would you say about Rob? It's the same thing.
Right. It's the same. It's the same principle. What I do, you guys need to do. I mean, I've been doing the same thing over and over and over. I mean, it's repetitious boredom. Mike Berry says that he's been saying that for years. The key to success is mastering repetitious boredom. After doing it for so many years, it's like, I've always said if I never saw another split entry in Kearns the rest of my life, I'd be okay, right? So you just after so many years of showing the same houses, you know, people, it doesn't, you know, it's boring, you know. So when a consumer, like if you walk in, especially with a younger buyer, if they walk in a house and they're excited about a house, and then, you know, of course, you've seen the same floor plan 385 times in the last 7 months, then, you know, you got to be excited with them, right? So you got to be excited with them. So anyway, so that's good stuff. So anybody, so as for struggles, so we had a lot of great feedback today. Good call today, folks. How about questions? So we had, you know, we always ask for wins. We always ask for struggles. Anybody struggling with anything? And if not, then what about questions? Do you have any questions? Because I have to get running here soon. So I'll take that as a no. So if anybody doesn't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and end the call. And if I'm going to be teaching a class from 10 to a little after 11. So if you have any questions, just, you know, I mean, hit me up afterwards. So
all right, thanks, Rob.
Or call me within the next 2 minutes, and then so see you guys.